This northern Nigerian state suffered one of the worst poisoning disasters in recorded history. The signs were there, but no one decoded them until it was too late. In early 2010, doctors in Zamfara, a state in northwestern Nigeria, noticed something very strange. An overwhelming number of children, primarily under 5s, were suddenly developing fever, seizures, paralysis, sudden blindness, and even dying mysteriously. Entire households were affected, and doctors were puzzled. Something was killing these children, and it was not malaria, meningitis, or any of the usual suspects. It wasn't until Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders, flagged the crisis to the state health authorities that an investigation began. What they found was staggering. The culprit wasn't a virus, a bacteria, or a curse. These children were dying of acute lead poisoning. You see, Zamfara has gold, lots and lots of it. And in the desperation of poverty, villagers turned to small-scale mining to survive. But the rocks they were grinding in their homes weren't just rich in gold. They were laced with lethal amounts of lead. Every time a family crushed ore, they unknowingly inhaled the dust, contaminated their food and water. By the time the world caught on, over 400 children were already dead, and thousands more were found to have blood lead levels so high they exceeded the maximum measurable limit. Never before had a lead poisoning epidemic of this scale been recorded. The exposure levels were the highest ever documented in scientific literature. And the response? Massive. Teams from the federal and state ministries, CDC, WHO, and environmental groups swarmed the villages. Entire communities had to be decontaminated. Homes had to be demolished. Soil was dug up and replaced, and children affected were given chelation therapy. But for many children, the damage was already irreversible. They had developed brain damage, stunted growth, and organ failure. But here is where it gets a little more interesting. Earlier that year, the villagers had noticed something unusual, that ducks began disappearing. These ducks were sentinels, and it was nature's warning of an invisible danger. Had anyone pieced it together sooner, lives might have been saved, but for many, the warnings came too late.